Welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving into stuff that literally feels like a Hollywood blockbuster. But here's the kicker. It is 100% documented reality. We're going to explore the thousands of government files the public was never supposed to see, the actual blueprints of history purposefully kept in the dark. But what happens when the lights finally get flipped on? Let's find out.
Just think about that quote for a second. Locked inside government vaults, buried beneath decades of secrecy. That is the actual reality of the global intelligence landscape. Right now, there are physical and digital rooms where the true drafts of history are sitting behind heavy steel doors and miles of red tape. Decisions, operations, programs, all operating completely in the shadows, totally insulated from us, sometimes for decades, and sometimes forever.
So, the million-dollar question, right? The one that drives historians, journalists, and honestly everyday citizens absolutely crazy. What lies inside America's hidden files? When those heavy vault doors finally creak open, what truths are actually waiting for us?
Well, the answers are all over the map. Some of these released documents reveal secret military experiments that, no joke, sound like pure science fiction. Others expose sprawling intelligence operations that literally reshaped global politics. And a few, they just leave us with massive unanswered questions. We're going to touch on all of these themes as we explore some of the most mind-blowing unearthings in modern history.
Section 1. Opening the Vault.
So, look, every government keeps secrets, right? It's necessary to protect national security, safeguard troops, and keep diplomacy secure. But in a democratic society, secrecy isn't supposed to be a permanent thing. Enter the Freedom of Information Act, or FOIA. This is basically the legal crowbar used to pry those vaults open. It's the law that eventually forces the release of classified files, uncovering the forgotten military and intelligence decisions that shaped our world. It's this absolutely crucial, delicate balancing act between the government needing security and us, the public, having the right to know.
Section 2. Mind Control and Secret Bases.
To get our bearings, let's look at our timeline today. We're heading straight into the extreme paranoia of the Cold War. Now, we will circle back to post-WWI and jump ahead to the 70s a bit later, but right now, we are zeroing in on the 1950s. The height of the atomic age, the Red Scare, and the birth of two of the most infamous classified programs in American history.
First up on the list, Project MKUltra. Starting in the 1950s, this was a highly classified CIA program that explored, quite literally, methods of influencing human behavior. The declassified documents show that the government was actively testing psychedelics, most famously LSD, alongside various psychological techniques. Why? To see if the human mind could actually be controlled, interrogated more effectively, or even completely reprogrammed. Crazy, right?
But the real lingering mystery of MKUltra comes down to a massive contradiction in the paper trail. See, the government actually destroyed most of the operational files before anyone could ever see them. But in this wild twist of fate, a random cache of surviving financial expense reports was completely overlooked. When those were found, they definitively confirmed the operations happened. And man, when those documents hit the public, it sparked massive congressional investigations, and it kicked off a lasting debate on intelligence ethics and government oversight that we are literally still arguing about today. Now, let's see how this ties into another legendary Cold War mystery, Area 51. For decades, the official stance was just denial. Total refusal to acknowledge the place even existed. It was just a blank spot on the map. But eventually, the sheer mountain of declassified files made that denial impossible, and Area 51's existence was finally officially confirmed. So, what was going on out there in the desert? According to those declassified files, Area 51 was a vital testing ground for incredibly advanced aerospace tech. We're talking the famous U-2 spy plane and other classified aviation projects that had to be hidden from Soviet satellites. But here's the thing, while historical files gave us a peek, the facility itself is still heavily guarded today. Whatever's happening inside Area 51 right now remains strictly classified, proving that, yeah, some vaults are still locked up tight.
Section 3. Operation Paperclip.
Okay, let's step back just a bit to the direct aftermath of World War II. We're opening a folder that literally changed the trajectory of human technology. The key takeaway here is the sheer scale of this. Hundreds. Following the war, the United States ran a highly secretive intelligence program to recruit hundreds of former German scientists. The goal? Grab their expertise before the Soviet Union could. This whole operation, moving hundreds of people and their families, was kept entirely hidden from the American public for years, until the documents finally leaked its astonishing scope.
The impact of those hidden files on our modern world? Staggering. The documents prove these secretly recruited scientists made monumental contributions. They were instrumental in American missile development, advanced aerospace research, and they basically served as the foundation of the early American space program. They helped put a man on the moon. It is just a perfect example of how a secret kept in the shadows fundamentally built our future.
Section 4. The Pentagon Papers.
Let's jump forward to the early 1970s. We arrive at a moment where classified documents didn't just reveal tech secrets, they basically shifted the entire cultural and political landscape of the country. A massive classified study about the Vietnam War, which we all know now as the Pentagon Papers, became public, and it laid out this absolutely stark contrast. What leaders were telling the public about the conflict was wildly different from the grim, private assessments they were making behind closed doors.
The unearthing of these specific papers is a massive deal. The release of the Pentagon Papers became one of the most significant events in American journalism and government transparency, period. It tested the very limits of freedom of the press, and it permanently altered how the public views the information their government hands them. It proved that classified documents aren't just historical curiosities, they are accountability in its purest form.
Section 5. What is still hidden?
So, we've looked at the past, but this archive of secrets, it isn't a closed book. It's a living, breathing, constantly growing thing. Today, millions of pages remain completely classified. Millions! Despite the Freedom of Information Act, despite automatic declassification reviews, there is an absolute ocean of information still heavily redacted or locked away on secure servers, just waiting for the day the top secret stamp gets lifted.
Now, it is important to remember what's actually in those millions of pages. They are protecting vital intelligence methods, shielding advanced military tech that's currently in development, and keeping diplomatic communications secure so international relations stay stable. The fact that these records are classified doesn't automatically mean they're hiding some dramatic conspiracy. A lot of times, they simply protect the sensitive sources and capabilities that keep a nation functioning securely. Some of these will eventually see the light of day, while others, they're going to stay secret for a very, very long time.
Ultimately, the main takeaway from this explainer is this. History is often rewritten when hidden documents finally become public. Every single one of these declassified files, whether it's about a secret aircraft in Nevada or Cold War psychology experiments, lets us retroactively see the real gears turning beneath the official narrative.
The question isn't whether more of these hidden files exist out there. We know for a fact they do. Millions of them. The real question is, what will the next declassified document reveal? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I hope it gave you a completely new perspective on the history you thought you knew. Keep asking questions and keep looking for the truth behind the redactions.